Okay, now I'm going to have Heather Newcomer talk to us today and help us close the loop on yet another topic. Floor is yours, Heather.
Okay, so we're going to talk today about how the OC governance system is set up and a little bit about how it is meant to work. And the basic overview of our system is that it fits on the side of what was already the existing structure. So we have our board of trustees that governs what's going to happen at our college, and they oversee just the president. And then the president kind of is the intermediate between all of the administration and all of the governance. And those two things are separated in that planning and policy and assessment live in the governance system. And then the implementation of all of that lives on the administration side of the house. So, for example, if someone's supervisor isn't behaving in an appropriate manner, that's administration. You go talk to HR. However, if there are policies about how people should behave at work, that might be something that we should talk about in governance. And so that's the division: planning, policy, assessment. That all is something that can go through to shared governance, so everyone has a voice. Then the implementation of that, that's administration. So that's not something that our councils have anything to do with. And then, of course, the consultation on that implementation is something that can be discussed. And our administrators can bring those to councils and get feedback. So here's another representation with a little more detail about the different councils. The president heads the structure. He also sits on the Governance Coordinating Council. The Governance Coordinating Council is an intermediary and organizing body. And you'll see off to the side of there's also Faculty Senate. Faculty Senate occupies a unique role, and they have a special relationship that's denoted here with the Learning Council. Faculty Senate actually has some extra representation on the Learning Council because Faculty Curriculum Council, the program review body, and also the assessment body all have representation on the Learning Council. So then we also have Budget, Student Achievement, Facilities and Safety, and Data and Tech Council, and they report to and communicate with the Governance Coordinating Council. The Learning Council doesn't report to Faculty Senate, but it does have a special communication with them. So that's kind of the overview of the councils that exist and how they work together. So representatives are appointed or elected by constituent groups. Election is preferred, but sometimes appointment is practical. SGOC and the student government appoint student representatives. OCAA is the body that appoints or elects our admin exempt employees, and sometimes the E-team and their representatives are also on there, typically as co-chairs. WPEA, which is our classified employee union, and also the Classified Staff Development Committee, they both appoint our classified staff representatives. AHE, which is the faculty union, and also the Faculty Senate, appoint the representatives that are faculty. There are also two advisory councils that appoint people, and that's the Sustainability Advisory and the Diversity Advisory Council. Now, these advisory councils can appoint people regardless of their job description. So the appointees from those two advisory councils might be administrators, they might be classified staff, they could be faculty, and they can even be students. So the role of these representatives is that they are meant to communicate back to their constituent group about matters of interest before the council. They're also intended to take that view from their constituents and share it with the council. They're to vote according to the feedback that they're getting. So they're intended to be a point of communication and also obviously representing the perspective of that larger group. And so that communication back and forth is really important. Some groups are finding that Teams is really useful for that. Some of the groups are using the surveys that are available for us to build in Microsoft Forms as a way of getting efficient feedback. So there's a lot of different ways that people are making that communication more effective, but the councils can get things considered and voted on and moving through the governance process more effectively when our representatives are able to communicate well with those constituent groups. And so that's a big part of making governance work effectively and making sure everyone knows what's happening. All right, any questions?
Wow. No, because you've answered so many of my questions today.
Excellent.
It makes so much more sense now. I appreciate your time. I hope
Excellent.
it answered my questions, so I hope it answers a lot of other people's questions too.
All right, very good. Well, I really appreciate our communications department that provided those graphics to me so that it would give us a nice visual for understanding how it all fits together.
Yeah, I've seen the second graphic a lot. It never quite made sense to me, but now it does more. And the first graphic I really liked because I didn't understand the real specific role of faculty senate with learning council. So that was really, really helpful. Well, thanks, Heather.
All right,
Till next
thanks.
time.
Talk to you later.